Good morning, everyone. My name is Ntombizanele Mahobe, and I work for PRISA. PRISA is Project for the Study of Alternative Education in South Africa. I'm a teacher, and I've been teaching and training children for the last 15 years. Didn't want to say that out loud. For the last 15 years. And PRISA's current project, Nalibali, is a national Reading for Enjoyment campaign to spark the love of reading and storytelling in children and parents. And so the aim of this project is to create conditions for learning across communities in South Africa and home settings, and to support the initial ongoing of literacy learning in South Africa. And Nalibali grew out of 20 years of PRISA's work in multilingual education. And so last night, when I was listening to the talks, and two things were mentioned which spoke to my heart. And those two things were mentoring and coaching. And when those things were said to me, and it took me back to my early years of teaching. And if you just allow me to tell you a story, it wouldn't be Nalibali if I went to tell you a story. And so the story is, when I was young, and this is a true story, and we know there's so many stories, and this is a true story. So when I was in college, training to be a teacher, I loved children, and I wanted to teach. But I didn't want to teach grade ones, because in my head I was thinking, how am I going to get those children writing? So funny that I was thinking about writing only. I was thinking, how was I going to get them to write? And so after 4 years of college, I still didn't have a recipe as to how I was going to get these children reading and writing. But then I had a mentor. And so when Jonathan Jansen and all the talks yesterday said coaching and mentoring, it took me back to my early years. I had a mentor. And my mentor walked with me the journey, long journey, with patience, praising my attempts, whether they were small, whether they were big. She encouraged me to read with children and to children. And when I complained and I said, but I can't find any Xhosa stories to read. And she said to me, well, tell stories, Ntombi. And then I told stories. And when I ran out of stories to tell children, and she encouraged me to get children to tell the stories. And she encouraged me to get those children to write the stories that the children were telling me, so that they become reading materials for them. And so I did that. And when the children and I ran out of stories to tell, she encouraged me to translate. She said, Ntombi, then translate the stories. Translate them from English into Xhosa, translate any stories that you find that you like. And so I did that. And it was okay for when they couldn't write, and when they couldn't write, and she said, then let them draw. And then all I needed to do was to write what the children were saying to me. And when I responded to children with well done and very good as only to their responses, she reminded me of my role to children's responses. And over time, looking at everything, I understood what she meant. Those lessons, I've been sharing them with the people that I train now, that are running reading clubs. Because for me, it laid the foundation as to how I understood about how children get to be readers, and how children get to be writers, and how to get children to be storytellers. So for me, when a 15-year-old boy at the reading club, the Vulindlela Reading Club, this boy who comes into the club who does everything else but reading and writing. And one time when I had small children and I had a set of rhymes, he sat with me. And when I asked him, okay, take one rhyme and read. And he didn't want to read. So I sat with him and I took the rhyme and I said, Imvula, it's raining. And he smiled and he said, oh, I know this one. And so he sang the whole song and he read it. And he asked for another one. And he did the same thing. I read the song and he said, oh, I know it. He had that smile again. And so it happened. And on that day, that boy, that 15-year-old boy, who's never been seen reading, who's never been seen writing on his own, didn't disturb anyone on that day. So reading clubs. What are reading clubs? These are our reading clubs. Reading clubs is any environment, is an environment where children, parents, everyone come, who love stories, and to be together, to just read and write. They're open to everyone. Nobody's forced to come. It's people who choose to be there. And parents as well. They come to be part of us. In fact, we encourage parents to come and be part of their reading clubs. And those who've been coming, they've become regulars. And a wise man said to me one day, when people are informed, they make informed decisions. And for me, the parents that are coming to the reading club, I feel that they're informed parents because they see their change in their children. And this one old lady said to me, my children at home are reading all the time. And then one lady also said to me, was told about how good their children are doing at school and that their children are listening in class. And so in training, as I do in reading clubs, I use stories and songs and drama and poetry and games to include the whole community. And so when a father of 6 years, of a 6-year-old in training context, and he said to me, he's never read a book. And then one time, 3 months later, that he came and he brought a book, Ugly Duckling, and he wanted to read. And I was like thinking, hang on here, what has happened here? And then he was talking about favorite books as well, 3 months. And when we are in training context again, he's not afraid to be the one to start up games, to start up song. This is a man, 3 months prior that, has never read a book in his life. And so 3 months later, it just changed, this whole change in behavior. And so here are the people who are coming to a reading club. Anyone is involved. And where are we opening up these reading clubs? Everywhere. School, home, library, community centers, church, playgroups, and clinics and bookshops everywhere. And these are the games that we have. And just as Penny was talking about Vulindlela reading clubs and the songs that we are playing at the reading club, going on a lion hunt. Kids come into the reading club. It's already open, and some, when they come early, they grab books and they are reading before everyone, because it's that thing, it's that culture, it's that routine that Jonathan Jansen was talking about. It's just there. They come, they know that, oh, I'm going to have fun with books, fun with games. And it doesn't matter if I can't read. It doesn't matter that I can't write, because there are all these other coaches in front of me who are going to help me, who are going to sing with me. And so it doesn't matter that I'm 15 years old and I can't read and I can't write, because someone else is going to read with me and to me. And so they play games, and they have all these adults who are coming to the reading club with them. So they experience with all kinds of things. And so so for me, I don't have a recipe for everyone. But I do know that if you want children to come back to the reading club, it's important to offer fun, enjoyable activities, but also that support learning. And I also know it's important, like my mentor did with me when I was going with well done, very good, that responses are very good for children. And because reading club for them is a place for them to practice for school. It's a place where mistakes are encouraged so that they not feel stupid if they are 15 and they can't read, or they are adults who can't read stories. Parental involvement is very, very important to make them feel useful. So that even if they can't read, but you said, but you have stories to tell. And that's what they share. They share stories with their children. And when they observe children playing songs and they recognize those songs, and slowly they become part of those groups and part of those songs. So we value everyone. So it's not about what you know and who you are. It's that interaction. It's that feeling of knowing that you are accepted here. And so who are our training recipients? People in the community that I mentioned earlier. Story sparkers, who are coaches for children. Mentors who are mentoring the story sparkers and people in the communities. Reading club volunteers, people all over. Us, it's everyone. And we are training together, and we are mentoring each other, and we are coaching these young children. And again, all the other organizations that have visions and who want to see our children reading and writing. And so this is a training context, if you can see, learning by experiencing as well. Having fun and learning at the same time. Looking at books, because we can't say, oh, people must be reading and not providing books. So here are training for volunteers reading books that they like, that they chose themselves. Games, all this is in training, and you can see everyone else is having fun. Reading again. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.